Welcome to Riverside Reads 2026, hosted by the Riverside Public Library. This year's community selection is Slow Noodles, a memoir that blends food, memory, and personal history. Through stories centered around cooking, food, and family, the book also touches on moments of loss, struggle, and resilience, showing how food can be a source of comfort, survival, and connection. We're honored to welcome the author, Chantha, today to talk about the experiences, flavors, and inflections that shaped Slow Noodles. Before we get started, here's an introduction from her daughter.
I have always had mixed feelings about hearing my mom's story growing up because sometimes she would cry when she tells a story and sometimes she would laugh. But it was very difficult to know which story would come out when we're having a meal, for example. I think narrating the audiobook made me feel even more proud that she is telling the story about her life and my grandmother and my aunt. But it doesn't make it any easier for me to hear her story, especially some of the most difficult part of her life, some of the traumatic events that happen in her life. It will always be difficult for me to hear it, no matter how many times I have heard it.
Thank you, Clara, for that introduction. Now we're joined by the author. Thank you again. It's a pleasure to meet you. Our first question is, how does it feel with your story out in the world? Was there a moment when you realized your story needed to be shared?
First of all, I didn't expect anything like this happen. And I just want to forget my life because it's not a life until I had to do it. And I was living in the past. I never move on. Everything is surreal since the book has been published. And I thought, first of all, I saw what happened at the book launch in Nashville. See people just pouring into the small gallery of Julia Martin. And then I said, because they support Kim, an American writer. And then since we received so much, people be in touch with us because of the story, and that's how I start to believe people wants to hear my story, because I never believed it. Like millions of refugees in the world, and each of refugee has their own story, and it's all very, very painful, like myself. So I'm very moved of how people interested in my story.
Were there moments when writing felt like healing and others when it felt like reopening old wounds?
It is like I have to leave it all again of what I try to bury it. So it's very, very painful, which I prefer to not telling the story than to look into it again. It's not look back, but live with it again every day, every day. For 6 years, I worked with Kim, and it's very, very painful. It's like the old wound, and you poke it. So if it's happened new, you face it, it happened firsthand, but now you look at it, you poke into the wound. So I think it's double hurt. Yeah.
Do you think it helped you move on? Or like to look forward?
I didn't realize it is a therapy. Yes, yeah. To say it out instead of, a landmine buried in my mind, in my heart, in my body. I never had a peaceful moment. I just cry anytime I'm alone, or I cry with my children, or I cry when I see the dish. But since we finished the story, it helped me a lot. Like at least now I can let it go part of it. And then also I see my children, we have more understanding with each other. Now I understand why my mom live like that.
What do you hope readers carry with them after they close the book?
Reader can see many things of it. A life of a person going through at the bottom, a very deep hole through war or poverty, hunger. But by the end of it, bottom line, you find a way to get over it, to crawl out of the hole, and but with lots of hope, determined to get out of it, you can do it. And you lose everything doesn't mean the end of the world, the end of your life. You can always find a way to get back. So that's I hope what the readers can find it in their own way, with looking for support, say it out, asking for help, because to say it out is not easy. It is very difficult. And to ask for support is even more difficult. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so once you get out of it, and then you can use it to help others, that will bring you happiness of life, to see people change their life with your support.
I definitely connected with your book with food. My dad passed away, but he taught me how to cook, and so I very understand. So our next question is, do you think the meaning of food in the book changes depending on the reader's own relationship to it?
Part of it. So I think because readers look at the book as a recipe. So that's why I started to work with Kim, because she said, what about we make the recipes, bring your mom and sisters' dishes out to the world. And that's the reason why I agree. And I didn't realize every dish has a story, and that's too late to stop or to go back. So yes, when people look at the recipes and Cambodian food, and they look at it, and then when they read the book and then see the recipes, but also knows the story, I think they are double impressed. So it's just not the recipe, but also the recipes has saved my life. Going through anything, the good aroma, the good smell, the good dishes. Before I was 10-year-old is the benchmark for me to reach back to that life. And yes, for me, the recipes is the main thing in my life that keeps the memory good or bad. And it helped me to go through when I'm very hungry. I just wish I have that dish or this dish. To work hard to get it back.
Your journey required great resilience and inner strength. How did you build that muscle to overcome the challenges you faced and ultimately write your book of survival? So you kind of covered some of that, but how did you move to overcome the challenges? I know that it took a lot of strength and you had to just keep on going.
I call it survival because so when people are in a very deep hole, or really totally desperate, or no hope at all, people would think of a negative way, using drug or alcohol, or don't want to don't want to live anymore. And for me, drug and alcohol needs money to buy, and I don't have money to get into any of those. But anyway, prostitution is one of the options. But grown up, my mother never taught me to sell my body to exchange food. So I never did that because I didn't grow up in that situation. And so survival is like just day by day. But the day is very long, and in so many days, I didn't I didn't find the light by the end of the tunnel for a very long time. But anyway, somehow I managed like to do the dishes, to cook um, for people, and at least I am not hungry when I found those, things to exchange food. And that's how I just, uh, get on with my life. Because I don't know. I don't know how to get out. But once I found the work at the house or cooking in the brothel, so then I survived. Yes. So I would do whatever to keep to keep me alive. Yeah, except prostitution.
Based on your personal experiences, what wisdom would you like to share with people who are currently navigating the refugee experience?
I mean, refugee in each country, each situation, each world uh, are different. Like, but we have the same thing that we had to run away because we can't live at home. Nobody wants to leave our home to the place that we don't see the future, we don't see the tomorrow. And so, and we have to depend on the support the other person gave us. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, and that's how the refugee lives their life. You kick us out, then we had to work away. You take us in, and whatever you provide us, the food, very, very bad food, we had to take it because we don't own our life anymore as a refugee. And it's like I used to tell him, and inside the refugee camp, I still remember the smell of the toilet, the latrine. I never forget many things. I never forget in my whole life. It's a life of a hell.
How do you think your experience of connecting your identity with your mother's recipes as a means of resistance can help current refugees that are experiencing a crisis?
We have a root. Everybody has a root. So I taught my children they have a root as well. So that's how it keeps us try to survive and go back to wherever we came from. Or if we can come back home, we still have a mother who raised us in our life, and we live our life for what we were raised. Yeah. So of course, as a refugee, sometimes you have no choice. You have to forget your mother because you don't have a condition to go by or to live that life. But mother always stay in your heart, and then your mother, whatever your mother told you, it's live with you for your whole life. And if you can just follow her words, follow her voice to live your life. And I hope my children do the same. Yes, because that's love. That's the only love, true love you have in one's life.
Those memories are definitely very important to stay connected, I think.
Yes.
Feminism is a core theme in your book as you challenge the, I don't want to say it wrong, the chabsre, the rules for being female,
Women, yeah.
for being women, through your own personal journey of resilience. You also co-created the Stung Trang Women's Development Center to help empower and lift women out of poverty. How do you hope your story empowers other women to dig deep within themselves and find their own inner strength to make lasting changes in their own lives?
Again, for me, family education takes half of what I call myself my education. So I grown up seeing my mother was not a woman under my father's thumb. She managed his money. She argued whenever she didn't agree with him. So at least I have something very, very modern mother. So I don't see myself as a woman who has to obey a man blindly. I have to have my own reason. But also I see my mother, she's not his totally dependent. She has her own very small businesses around. She's helping people in the village. And also she told me before she was able to be alone with my father, I mean, they broke out from her mother-in-law. She had the life of a slave, of her mother-in-law and of her husband. And because she's a housewife, she didn't earn any money. So she taught me, don't ever live a life of a housewife. Find a job for yourself. So that's how I was raised. And I realized I earn respect from my husband because I have an income of myself to contribute to the family. And seeing women in Cambodia and with the Chabab Srey rules for women, you are like at the bottom of every family. You are a slave. You have to serve your husband, serve your father, serve your son. So then I teach women, if you are financially independent, you are not a dependent of a man, of your husband. And that's very true. What happened once they work and they earn an income, domestic violence stop. The husband don't want to divorce. So it proved that what I believe is true. If we can empower women in providing them a skill, a job, and an income, their status will increase.
Okay, so what is on the horizon for you as an author? Have you considered going the cookbook route?
To be honest, I think after I tell my story, I think I have done my job. And because for so many years, I don't have a peaceful life. And so right now, I just look at myself of try to get used to with a new life. No more worries, no more crying, no more fear. And look at my children grown up and with a good education. So right now I don't have any plan to write any more book, but yes,
Okay.
to learn a new life.
Well, if you ever change your mind,
The recipes sound amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I have my favorite one written down to try.
well, so I was very interested in this part. In chapters 6 and 7, you describe the fall of Saigon, like from your perspective, and subsequently living under kind of like the early years of communism. How has your relationship or perspective on those memories evolved from simply living through them to making sense of them later in life and eventually writing about them? That's a long one. I'm sorry. I can give it 2 parts.
Yeah. So for us, Saigon is not home. That's the first thing.
Right.
And second, Saigon was in war. So that's second. So for me, Saigon is foreign to me. We had no choice but to leave them as a refugee. Uh, and and number 3 is my mother was not with us.
Oh,
I was very young and I didn't have my mother with me. So I mean, Saigon is a very bad memory. I don't have anything good about Saigon.
no.
Poor, hungry, and seeing the war and went to funeral every day from the soldier die in the front line. So it's the whole thing for me. Saigon is something, if I can forget, if I can delete it from my memory, I'm happy to do so.
I understand that.
So right at the moment, because I speak Vietnamese, so I am working in Vietnam a lot. But Vietnam today is not the Vietnam in 1975. They are totally changed. And when I talk to the younger people, they don't know anything about the world. They don't know about what their parents went through like I did. So that's Saigon to me. The Saigon with bad memory and the Saigon I don't know at all right now. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
I
Thank
am
you.
a refugee. Yeah.
So, if you had to choose one dish that best represents who you are now, not who you were growing up, what would it be and why?
I would choose the dish that other people like, not myself like, because as a cook, and then when your friends or children enjoy it, that's the bonus for the cook. And so spring roll, the fried spring roll is I have most admirers anywhere in the world. And until I realized it is very unique that I went nowhere. They made the same. So yes, spring roll is one of the my very, very much bright dish. I would cook for everybody because now I can foresee the reaction when they eat it.
There's a video of it on YouTube, right?
Is there?
I watched it today and I was like, this looks so good.
Yes. Oh, I'll have to watch it.
Yeah, I'll send
So
it to
it
you.
makes you happy.
So exciting.
It makes, yeah.
And
as
makes
a
me
cook,
happy because
right?
when you serve someone food, you are very, very nervous until they say, oh, this is really good. And the fried spring roll is I am sure I never receive anything like, this is okay. No, always this is, I never had anything like this good. Yeah, so I wish we can meet so I can make it
I-
for you one day, or Kim or Clara.
We'll have to take a
Yes.
trip.
I know. I was like, is a recipe in here? I don't remember. I was looking forward to the spicy beef stew.
Uh-huh. I'd travel halfway across the
Spicy
world
beef
for
stew.
your spring rolls.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Who did you imagine you were writing this book for when things felt most difficult? And did that change over time?
My mother and my sister always in my mind. Like I talk alone before I tell the story. I see them in front of me every day, especially when I sit down to eat. That's why I just tell the story out. And like Clara told her friends, she doesn't know what happened. I don't know when my mom start to eat. I don't know if she cry or she laugh. Every single time we ate together. So that's the and because I agree to write the book is because of my mother's recipes that I want everybody to know how good it is. And I dedicate the book to Anne because she's the person who made me tell the story. Without her, I would be no way I would tell the story to anybody. And then because my children listen to me almost every day about my pain, my past. So that's what for them, but also for the readers, for the refugee who went through the similar thing in life. I just want to share the experience with those. Yeah, and the children, my children, they are so proud of me because, Mom, can I have a copy of your book? That's it's very, very amazing for me to have my son. Mom, can I have a copy of your book? Because I put them through so much. They don't deserve an abnormal mother like me. They absolutely don't know what is a normal mother because my mom cries all the time. Mom, can you stop crying? And my son, when he was 10 or 11, he said, Mom, can you stop telling the story? I don't want to see you cry anymore. So it's very wrong to do that to your children. But now they understood. Yeah. And the bond is, increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, stronger.
What role did hope play in your journey, and how did your mother's recipe support that? I think we already talked about it a little bit.
Because I always dreamed to cook for people, to cook my mother's recipe for people, and now it's happening. So, for example, in Cambodia, people read the book and they ask me to come and cook with them in their book club. So it happened more and more of it, and we had tourists, and then the travel agency asked me if I want to cook slow noodles for their tourists. So we have more and more booking in the 2026, even though the tourists in Cambodia is going down because of the war between Thai and Cambodia. But anyway, yes, I can see my dream comes true. Cooking, and people likes the food, children or adults. Yes, so I would like to continue this journey. Yeah,
Awesome.
to cook for people far and near.
So that was actually our last question, but we want to extend the greatest gratitude for you spending your morning with us, because our community chose this book, and we all loved it so much and we wanted it to win. So we were very excited, and it touched us all, I think, in different ways. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.